Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to go and kind of quickly hit on some of my favorite keyboards in 2021 for really any Android device. Now, whether you have the Pixel 5 or Galaxy S20 or Nexus 4 or whatever phone it is, you can basically download these keyboards and use them. And I couldn't really think of a crazy amount because all of them are kind of blending in, like they're almost like one-to-one copies. But there were three different keyboards that I could actually find. I didn't invent them, and I'll leave them linked down below so you can just download them from there if you want to. Now, the very first keyboard that I almost always recommend people to go ahead and utilize is pretty much Gboard. Now, Gboard is one of those keyboards that looks so beautiful and it comes stock with every Android device. And I'm pretty sure everyone has used Gboard by now, but as you can see, I mean, it looks pretty standard. You only have, pretty much a basic layout. It looks like a AOSP keyboard if you know what that is, and you have pretty much basic functionality when it comes down to it. You have quite a bit of selection up top, which is beautiful. You have the swipe keyboard, which is great. The colors look beautiful. You can also go ahead and, use these emojis, which look much better than, they used to, if you remember those emojis, but these ones look really good. And you also have some functionality up top as well. You have the text-to-speech right here too, so you can go through that. And you have a lot of this functionality. You can go straight into the settings. You can click these three little dots right here and get into even more settings. You can change out some themes within the keyboard as well, which is another pretty big asset. And as you can see, I just kind of screwed it up. And I think this keyboard is probably my number one keyboard. I think it's probably the best one out there. I think the other ones are pretty close, but this one is extremely, extremely good. There's just so much stuff. I feel like they're taking my name with that. But ultimately, I think this keyboard is probably my number one keyboard I would recommend to people. My second keyboard is one that has a little bit more functionality, and this one is actually the Microsoft Swiftkey keyboard. Now, this one I think is a beautiful keyboard as well. It kind of, at its core is almost the same thing as Gboard, but at the end of it, it does have a little bit more capability. So first of all, you have the standard swipe stuff. You have, I guess the standard stuff that you normally have. The emojis, pretty much almost exactly the same, but they swift out this way, and they go this way too, which is pretty interesting. I didn't know that. On iOS, it's just like down, and Gboard is just down. But this keyboard is really, really nice because it does have, I think, a lot more functionality built in. So first of all, you have the GIF keyboard, you have these stickers you can go ahead and paste there if you want to. But more so than that, you actually have a log of your clipboard. So if you actually go ahead and you for some reason want to go ahead and copy a bunch of stuff, well, you actually have somewhat of a history of your specific, copy and paste data. So I think that's really, really cool in and of itself. So just by having this is really, really awesome. Now, if we go ahead and click back, you can go ahead and see we also have a little translation thing right here too. So if you want, you can go ahead and, translate straight from one language to the other, straight from the keyboard itself. So you can go ahead and copy and paste something and paste it right there and basically get that capability. And as I stated before, that's another pretty big asset that you have within this keyboard. I don't think Gboard has that stock built in, but it's still a really cool feature nonetheless. Hopping out of this one, you can go ahead and see we have this little eye keyboard, which I guess is just whatever, it doesn't really matter. Three dots right here dictate a lot of other capability that you have here. You can actually reorder these specific things too. And this is probably my number two keyboard. I like it. It just kind of seemed like it's a little bit too many features, to be honest, which is so funny. But I think at the end of the day, this is a really solid keyboard of choice as well. Now, my final keyboard is the Grammarly keyboard. Now, this is number three. It's definitely not number one. I think it's cool and all, but I just think it's a little bit too clunky, and I think they have to have, a little bit more iterations. I think it's great kind of a starting off keyboard, and I think their main thing that kind of spread apart is like better your grammar and all that stuff, but I'm not too sure. I'm not really a huge fan of my grammar. Just kidding, that's the total joke. But this keyboard is pretty bare bones. There's not really a crazy amount of features. You can get the number pad up there, which is really cool. You can also change the keyboard just by clicking the spacebar, just like every other keyboard. But I think at its core, there's not really a crazy amount of functionality. I think it's a pretty basic keyboard. I do like the emojis because it's pretty close to what we already have on iOS, and I definitely do like the iOS emojis. But I like this layout, how it's just kind of like more so like side to side rather than down and up. But I think this keyboard also has a bit of functionality. Like I said, it's definitely not the craziest best keyboard, but if you have like the ability of having a keyboard that can potentially give you more accurate results when you're typing, this can probably be the keyboard for you. Again, it's probably not for everybody, but it's a pretty good keyboard at the end of the day. So those are my three favorite keyboards that I probably would recommend people to get for any Android device. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.